You're welcome back. Now it's time for Joy News Interactive. We're going to be listening to the responses of our audience on the topics, the various topics that we put on our social media sites. And Miss G is here again.
I'm back.
Tell us about those stories.
Okay, so let's get interactive. You can join the conversation via social media. You can find us on WhatsApp 0560-800,000, Facebook and Twitter, and Joy News on TV, and at JNR Interactive GH respectively. Pressure is mounting on the chairperson of the Electoral Commission to resign over what critics say is needless humiliation the EC has suffered in court since her assumption of office. This comes after a number of defeats the Commission has been faced with barely a year after she was appointed. Notable amongst them are Abu Ramadan on NHIS card registrants, the release of the collation sheets to political parties, as well as the recent defeat in the Indum disqualification case. Former Attorney General Martin Amido is not the only one in support of the call for her resignation. In fact, a senior lecturer with the University of Ghana also says demand for her resignation are justified. What are your views? Do you think the issue is being blown out of proportion?
Though Martin Amido is a citizen vigilante and he has brought this, it's very important, but we should still look at it from this instance. It's early days yet, and I can say actions have even helped to strengthen our judiciary system, have made lawyers now go and look back at those clauses which were available. If she had not brought these things up, we would also not have gone to look there, and the mere fact that she went to look there tells you in a way she's very circumspect. And fine, her circumspection could not have been 100% because what, there were some things that she still left hanging. Yes, that's why now you bring it, and it makes democracy beautiful. She was competent, and that's why we put her there. We all know her credentials, so we can't just say because of this she should resign. I think that call is too early, and it's one that is harsh in itself. So Afarajan has also been in court before, not once, not twice. We should all consider these things. Yes, they are liable to make mistakes, and it's for the beauty of democracy that we can all make our comments. Yeah.
To me, I know that before somebody occupies a position, you know that the person is competent. I mean, so how would some Ghanaians come out and blab that she's incompetent and all that? Her election is as a result of the credentials she has.
She is a leader, and that's what her position requires of her. That at the end of it all, when you've met as a consultative team, the ultimate decision always lies with you, the leader. That's why you have your signature under it. So if you sit in a committee or a meeting and they take a decision which repeatedly is going against the EC, and you keep doing the same thing, I mean, it only shows that you are incompetent, to borrow that word. Look, here is the case. You are saying you have a team, and the argument will always be forwarded that she's doing this with a team and all of that, but you are leading the team. So if you lead a team and things are going wrong and you are incapable of changing it, bringing that change to see to it that the right thing is happening, then you are not being a leader.
Yes, that's why even in matters of arbitration, you don't just have one lawyer leading the chart. Okay, these are real-time cases he's referring to, but we can say, because she's bearing the brunt of her actions, we'll say she's leading them astray, but I'll say they are leading themselves astray. What have they come out to say that they've done right and she did wrong? You see, we've not gone to look into all these things. Yes, and just like a leader must do, she's taking them upon herself, but that decision for her to resign is a rash one, and I disagree with the fact that she's leading them astray. They have minds of their own. They are also leading themselves astray if they have nothing to offer.
I'll also go back on my words that a leader is a leader, and she has people that she has to consult, and at the end you all come to a final decision. But she's not leading them astray. At the end, she doesn't know everything.
All right, so we are back in the studio, and Arab, of course, I definitely would have to take your opinion on this.
Well, I have heard people who are close to the EC say that she doesn't take unilateral decisions. I mean, it's the commission that takes you know, they reach a consensus before they come out. But the perception out there is that she takes all the decisions. So whatever happens, everything is put on her head. But, you know, uneasy lies the
head that bears the crown.
Exactly. Thank you very much. All right. So let's see some responses on Facebook. Ejepong Yabua Emmanuel says, the days to election are short to raise such issues. She should have some peace to conduct the elections. Raising such issues after the elections will be much better. So that's from Ejipon. He thinks that this is too premature. Shifano says, I don't support the call for her resignation now, but I pray that she will stay and see Nene Akufo-Addo become the president of Ghana, despite all the frustrations. That's from Shifman Osei, who's obviously an MPP sympathizer. Eliasu Haruna Tamale says, no matter how distasteful her conduct may be, for me, the time is limited considering the time involved in the upcoming elections. The calls for her resignation may have to be reactivated after the elections. She is too, timmy for the liking of many. Tim. What is it? Tin. What does that mean? Anyway, Isha Haq. Tin. And what does that mean?
I wonder.
Isha Haq Inusa says, I don't have an opinion on this, but it seems she's struggling. I guess it's an ego problem. Really, Isha Haq? And Nana Kumnipa Jr. writes, it's long overdue, cry, Master and Charlotte say, and EC still have more cases to lose. Freddie Aru writes, let's give her some chance and time, but she should be talked to. And Magani Stephen writes, only people who don't believe in the rule of law would want her to resign. So those are some responses coming in from Facebook.
Okay,
yes.
So let's read your responses here on WhatsApp. And the first one says, my fear is that if she has taken this hard stance, we would have to manage with that personality until she retires. And another person says, that's Ibrahim Bakayoko says, it's needless to call for her resignation. The EC chair is wasting our time. She needs to humble herself and learn. She must go. SO from Elmina. The focus is on her so much. It's a commission and it should work accordingly. Does she work in isolation? Alaji Bubaka is asking this question. And okay, Alaji, you see from Tamale rather. And Aziz Donla says the chairman of the EC remains one of the best. Do we still call her chairman or chairwoman?
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chairperson is
okay.
accepted.
So sorry to say, but honestly, that call to resign is bogus. The political parties should stop pushing this agenda. The fact that the court rules against her outfit does not make her incompetent. It's purely the rule of law. And then from Painters, and I see some sort of incompetency in the EC, but it's too late to call for the chair to resign. Let's match her to face the elections. Pray God she stay true. Kebene SA, and also this is sheer incompetence. How can you disqualify someone without giving him a hearing? Kofi Etua Abeka, and also I think she should honorably resign. The woman thinks she's too powerful and that she puts power on herself. Robson Bukari in Yendi, and also Papanko Damongo says, what has Madam Charlotte done to warrant her resignation? He should give her a break. So let me take the, okay, your tin is here again.
It is?
I
wonder what it is. What
I also wonder.
means?
And it says that tin means the act of resisting advice. And Mohammed from Bolib says, I think Madame Charlotte Osei should go and Dr. Farijan should come again, I think. So she should go and see Dr. Farijan for more. Okay, thank you. In my opinion, she is not taking the advice the commission is giving, or they are intentionally ill advising her. And that's Alaji Kum sending this one to us. So let's go on to some other stories. A new French law would make it illegal for an employer to contact an employee after typical working hours. The amendment is largely as a result of studies showing that people have an increasingly difficult time distancing themselves from the workplace. Those in support of this new law to be passed argue that not being fully able to disconnect from work can have mental and physical health implications on employees. Question is, under which circumstance do you think an employer is justified to contact an employee after working hours?
Okay, so there are responses from Facebook. Let's quickly take some.
I'm excited about this one.
Are you?
And because, you know, some people say their employers call them even at 2 a.m. and things like that. So
well, it depends on the job. If you're a doctor or a nurse and your services are needed, you offer an essential service. So obviously, I mean, you should expect calls.
So you don't have a life then.
Well, I mean,
and if you have a spouse who doesn't get to understand, you know, the details of your job, it becomes a problem.
I totally understand that. Kwesi Boateng Ayepa writes, unless the person finds himself in the essential services, like I was saying, apart from that, why should you be calling your employees after work? Why will the employer pay the employee? Why? Will the employer pay the employee in pounds?
Even if you were.
Elias Suhari Natamale says, the attitude of some employers just stinks. They won't give a breathing space for employees. Employees must be given some space to rest, as one can't always cheat nature. Alberta Populampo writes, essential service providers such as nurses, doctors, pharmacists are exempted from this rather wonderful policy, because definitely human lives are at stake here. I agree with you, Alberta. And Nana Kumnipa Jr. says, after a hard day's work, an employer need not worry an employee at all with calls crowd, no matter what the situation may be, period.
And that's it for him. He can't be bothered about any more things, you know. But I think there's some more messages for you.
Indeed. Now, Shipman Osei writes, hey, I pray this law is enacted here in Ghana to at least give our ladies so peace after work. I don't quite get what you're writing here, Shipman. But Gideon Ales McManus writes, after a hard day's work and your boss is worrying, I go slap through the phone. How are you going to slap your boss through the phone? And finally, Eben Blanks writes, when you are giving me a raise, I guess that's when he will accept that you can call him at any point in time when you are when you're increasing his salary for him.
Anyway, let's go to the street to find out how people had to say about this.
There are about 7 to 8 hours you spend at work. I mean, whatever that you want your employee to do, you can do it within that time constraints. There's a time when he comes to work, there's a time when he's supposed to go, especially those who are married with kids, with a family. You don't expect that you always put work on them. They are human beings. There are other parts of their lives that are very important. It's not all about work. There are lots of things that make up an individual, not necessarily work. And so if you have about 7 to 8 hours or to the maximum 9 hours to spend at work, I believe that your boss should be able to use that time to give you whatever task he wants you to do. When you close from work, you've closed from work. Everything about work stays at work. When you go home, it's family, it's personal life, because your life doesn't only depend on work, it depends on a lot of factors.
And let's consider the central thing. We are in a digital age. In a digital age, we are saying work does not end because what the internet does not end also. There's Facebook, there's WhatsApp, there's Instagram, social media. Communication continues. So even in the context of that law, it's communication that is prevalent, not extra work. So in cases where you find out that his contact may cause you to do more work, that's why you can go to the negotiation table again, though there's a law, and say, if you are to contact me to do more work, I think my boss, you have to give me some money or more remuneration.
What are the chances that if your boss calls you, it won't be something related to work? Obviously it would. Your boss would not call you on any day unless for some of you of them ask you, oh, how's your family doing? No. As you said, business is business. They don't strike. There's no balance between when I have business time and I have family time. If he's contacting you, then it's definitely something that has to do with work.
That's why at first glance, if the situation demands that it will be very difficult. That's why it's communication. You talk to him. I find that this will be difficult for me. Can it be done in a different way? Fine. That's why even in the law's true sense, or in the spirit of that law, he's trying to talk about contacting. You have an address. That's why he can still get to you. Probably that's why you mentioned chances. When you talk about chances, you're not dealing with an absolute term. It's relative. So what if the chances are that he's telling you about something you can do tomorrow, about a reminder?
Let's take it at this point. Now, every work, it depends on every work you do. There's some work, your boss needs to call you and inform you about certain kind of issue, and there's some work, when you are done with it. Let's take journalism for instance. You may be at home, an issue may come up, your editor or senior editor can call you that there's a story going on somewhere. You have to go and cover it. So with that, let's base it on the types of work people do and the functions they perform in that particular work, and we can take it from there.
Regardless of the nature of your job, there's a time for everything. Even the Bible says that. You don't tell me that because we are in the internet, you're not on the internet 24/7. No. You sleep, you eat, and those times you're doing that, you're not on the internet. If not, then I'm sure we would have worked the whole day if everybody wants to make money. Even the rich men who are making money sleep.
All right, so you're back in the city. Let's read some of the comments you've sent to us on WhatsApp. And it says, Shipman Atonso says, please, why should employees even give their contact to their employers in the first place? Like, really? Perhaps, seriously?
What did he say?
Why should employees give their contact to employers in the first place? Like, really? Okay. Or is it part of the contractual agreement? I think it is. I think so. He himself answers. He says, I think so. And he says, Madame Po. And employees must learn to work. If an employer and I notice you have not achieved your target for the day, I will worry you till you get it done. Why the social media? Work outside work. What if money is inclusive? Will the employee say no? SO from Elmina sends that to us as well. So today is World Savings Day. How much have you saved, and for what purpose do you save?
Let's see some responses on Facebook.
Eliasu, because I feel the question.
Me? Yeah, I do save, obviously.
So how much?
How much? I'm not prepared to disclose it on national television.
Oh, really?
Yes, it's between me and my God. But it's important to save, very, very important. You never know,
True.
It always comes in handy on a rainy day. Very, very true. And Ilyasu Haruna Tamale writes, what I get does not even sustain my family, and how then can I save? I don't know if my bank account is still alive. Really, Ilyasu? People need money to solve teething problems, not to get it locked up in the banks. But it's also important to save, Ilyasu. Kwesi Boateng Ayepa writes, I have saved towards writing of my professional exams, ACCA, but I won't mention the amount. If I do that, people will start calling me for loan. Jambedu Adnan Al-Hassan says, I don't save at all. I used all in small-scale business. The banks are reaping so much of our savings. I only do insurance for my unborn kids' education. Oh, is that so? Baye Jeremiah says, it's good to save. I save to invest, but the investment environment is not friendly. If you save and you don't invest, it's another problem. So he is saving and also investing. Anum Kwejo Martin writes, in fact, I live like a magician. Earnings are not so much. Spending very high, but managing to save though. My God always provides. That's from Anum Kwejo Martin. Favor Adesanya writes, all my savings went to paying taxes for incompetent Mahama government. You just had to find a way of roping that in, didn't you, Favor? Nana Kumnipa Jr. writes, Asemo, my work is hand to mouth, so no saving at all. Too bad for you, Nana Kumnipa. And Shadrach Abugre writes, I wish to save, but cash do me, wahala. Where did the cash? I'm sure it will come soon. And Andrea Kote writes, you should tell us yours before. A lot can't even recall the amounts. That's true. A lot of people just put their savings somewhere
because
and
you're
forget
saving
about it.
Exactly. Something you want to spend. Okay, so Okay, so I don't know. Let me read this one for you. Honorable Abdullah Yendi says, I suppose a man is bound to err. However, when anyone is eliminated from the arena, the fellow should not worry. More so, you and Raps, should kindly get in touch with your one and only. Okay?
Hey, who's that?
It's called Abdullah Yendi. From Yendi, I guess. It says, okay, so he sent his number, and then I'll give the number to you when we are done. So get in touch with your one and only. Okay, so let's go for a trending picture.
What's that?
Okay, so hi sweetheart, I'm driving, I'll call you later. Of course he is driving. He definitely is driving. Araba.
Yes.
He's driving.
Yes, he's driving his wheelbarrow.
Exactly. So why does anybody have a problem with him?
Well, I mean, you know, if you are talking to a lovely lady on the phone, she doesn't know what you're driving. You know, you raise her expectations. So when she sees what you are driving, you can give her a heart attack, you know. So, I mean, it's not good to be, how do you call it?
You know,
not to
tell lies. Do you think it's well, that'll be it for joining this interactive, perhaps.
All right.
But I'm going to drive.
But are you driving a car?
No.
Or are you driving a wheelbarrow?
No.
What are you driving?
Benku.
I see.